welcome everybody. It's me, Zalrena, coming at you with the next installment of the Stereo Listening Project. Today we are actually going to be talking about two awesome and badass women. First of all, I'd like to talk about Krysta Cameron, one of the co-founders of a metalcore band named I Wrestled a Bear Once, which I listened to a lot in high school. I was already a metalhead myself, and then hearing about a woman vocalist, I was hooked. Krista is an American, and she founded I Wrestled a Bear Once, which is often referred to as IWABO, in 2007 with, I think it was Steven, who was the other person who founded it with her. He was on lead guitar, drums, and keyboard. And then John Gainey, rhythm, guitar, keys, and Brian Dozier, who played bass. But if I remember correctly, he joined the band shortly after they formed. Krista has referenced a lot of different vocalists as her inspiration. I was most surprised to hear that she said she actually likes Bjork and was incredibly influenced by her. That is awesome. Big inspiration for her clean vocals specifically. So Krista was with the band for 2 albums. It's All Happening and Ruining It for Everybody, until 2012 during Warped Tour. She actually left the band, left the tour, then left the band because she had become pregnant. She chose to spend more time with her family than with her band and her musical career. Unfortunately, though, she has come out in recent years and said that she actually had been coerced or manipulated by her ex to leave the tour. So sad. It was her husband at the time. He was an alcoholic and had abusive tendencies, allegedly. This is what Krista has stated. She eventually did separate from him and divorce. And I quote, she said, P.S. He also manipulated me into leaving IWABO while he still continued to tour with his band at the time. That was so wild to hear about, because on her interviews and in Wikipedia articles and everything, it just said, oh, she left to be with her family. She wanted to focus on her family. And then to read her long and heartfelt post about how painful and difficult it was to live with an alcoholic, abusive man. It was so sad. She has gone on to continue her passion of creativity and arts. She was even in a movie in 2012 called A Very Scary Movie. She is now a mother of 4 children. She was a librarian and has been singing with a band called Empyrean Lights with her sister and her now partner, Daniel, who actually performed for a little while in I Wrestled a Bear Once during 2008 and 2009. The band actually hasn't posted anything in a while, but I'm proud of her for continuing to seek out creative outlets like music and performing in movies. So in 2012, after Krista had left I Wrestle a Bear Once, she had been, or I guess the position had been filled by Courtney LaPlante, she is now famous for being in Spiritbox. But she had been performing her whole life, even long before I Wrestled a Bear Once. She actually grew up going to church and was singing at church when she realized her passion for performing and singing. She's actually Canadian, but grew up in Alabama. Courtney is a singer and songwriter who joined I Wrestled a Bear Once in 2012 or 13. It's kind of a blurry timeline, but she was 23 years old. And she was in I Wrestled a Bear Once for 2 albums as well. She was part of Late for Nothing and Hail Mary. And then she left with Mike Stringer in 2015 because she said for a long time that it's always difficult to fulfill somebody else's shoes. She always felt compared to Krista. She felt like her creative direction went different from where Krista may have wanted to go, and that ultimately their creative differences were too large, and that she wanted the freedom of her own musical project. So in 2016, Courtney and Mike actually got married, and it was during this time that they asked their family members to donate money to them recording music and pursuing their musical endeavors together. And it was shortly after, in 2017, when Courtney and Mike co-founded Spiritbox. I love that. I'm so happy that their family was, on board for their vision. Super, super cool. Courtney said that with this band, her main goal was fluidity. She said, I never want to have my feeling. No, hold on. I read that all wrong. She said, I want to never have to feel the restraints or the pressure of having a singing to screaming ratio or something like that. Very cool. And I think you could see that through her journey. Even from I Wrestled a Bear Once, she started introducing clean vocals, and she's liked a lot of spooky imagery. And I think with the Hail Mary album from I Wrestled a Bear Once, you started to see that coming through. And then to today, Spiritbox has a lot of spooky vibes. I like an excerpt from one of her interviews where it talked about how Spiritbox writes their music. It is a well-known fact that Michael, her husband, writes most of the actual music portion, the instrumental portion. And I'll read now. She said, that creates imagery in my head. I think that one of my biggest influences and one of the things I watched most when I was a kid was the original Fantasia. So she's always had this link of like vivid imagery to sound. And I think that's super cool because I am the same way. Almost everything I listen to creates a stunning visual representation in my mind. And maybe one day I'll be able to create something with those images. So that brings me to the song that we are going to be listening to today by Spiritbox. It is called The Void. They posted a visualizer video 13 days ago, and I've seen a little snippet of it here and there just because I wanted to make sure that it was going to be cool for this podcast. What the heck? I've been listening to a lot of podcasts recently. For this series. Anyway, we are going to go ahead and give it a listen right now. Here we go. Oh, wow. Okay, so I really like that, like a running drum sound. It doesn't totally feel stereo, but it is cool. There's definitely a cool aspect to it. And then Courtney's really lovely, breathy, mystical sounding voice on top of it. I'm curious to see how this will go. Okay, there was one cool thing. In the visualizer, it showed basically people in a glass cube, and whatever effects were put on Courtney's voice makes it sound like she's singing from a little glass cube. And then now it's in the visualizer, we're seeing this wide open cavern, I guess. I'm expecting it to be a cavern because, you know, it's all dark and the ground is muddy. Her sound of her voice is reflecting that open space. Okay, I am noticing some instruments on the left and some on the right, which is pretty standard, as we've seen from most of these stereo listening project episodes. It's kind of giving me ASMR feels, though. The sounds that they've chosen for this song are really, really nice. Oh, I like that. I think it's a drum machine and it's kind of distorted. And as the visualizer approached you, the viewer, the sound also approached your ears. That was neat. Okay, I'm really enjoying the feeling of being enveloped by Courtney's voice. It's definitely the most prominent piece of this song, but I have a confession, guys. I've seen Spiritbox live, and I didn't like her voice then. I'm 99% sure that the reason why I didn't like it, though, was because of my position in the room. Like, the stage was really far from me, to be honest. It was like a stadium, basically. I'm trying to remember what the place was, but yeah, stage was really far towards my like 10 o'clock, and I was seated in the corner of the whole arena. So it had like a rounded edge, and that's where I was, in the rounded edge area. So I think that's why I didn't enjoy it. And now hearing Courtney and Spiritbox with the bone conduction headphones, it's a much more mesmerizing and, I don't know, captivating experience. Ooh. I think that was the drum machine again. Felt like it was kind of like running over you in a way. Hold on, I'm gonna rewind just a little bit so we could hear that again. Yeah. Awesome. I don't know if it was actually drums or a drum machine, but the effects that they used on it were really cool. I kind of want that to be broken down for me. If anybody can recognize what's happening there, it's like pitch shifting, adding reverb. Yeah, that was neat. Just for a few seconds too. Very little humble moment there that I think could deserve some attention. Oh my god, I got chills when it was just her voice. I'm gonna rewind again. All the sound goes away except Courtney's voice. Absolutely stunning. Oh yeah. I really liked that part too. I think she said with me. And her voice kind of just like did this quick little swirl. That was awesome. Okay, again, I'm gonna rewind and play it back just a moment. Oh, and I just realized the camera is kind of reflecting that sound going around the human figure there on the visualizer. Oh, that is so cool. Wow. I always am impressed when they can make the drums not so oppressive in a song, because drums are loud. They are so freaking loud. But in this song here, they've been mixed really well. I like it a lot. I'm super happy with that video. I liked watching the visualizer. I'm a 90s baby, so a lot of my early days on the computer were spent staring at visualizers, so that was a little nostalgia dose there for me. An awesome song, and I'm really excited to see what else Spiritbox comes out with in the near future. I have grown a fond appreciation for Courtney's voice and for her work in I Wrestled a Bear Once. Also, shout out to Krista for founding I Wrestled a Bear Once and finding her place in the world. Thank you so much for listening today, or God, too many podcasts. Thank you for watching my video and hanging out with me today. I really do appreciate you, and I hope you enjoyed this stereo listening project episode of Krysta Cameron and Courtney LaPlante. I will see you all next time. Until then, take care. Much love. Bye.